Hello there. So I just spent the last 30 days wearing this Altra FWD Experience in every activity that I can think of except for yard work. And the idea was to see how it held up for the long haul, as in like everyday life, running, walking, standing all day at work, going through activities. All right, so the video is going to be the last 30 days and just basically me and my thoughts and some of the activities that I've done with this Altra FWD Experience. And I gotta say, the results are actually a little bit more surprising than what I was originally expecting for this shoe, which is, their first introduction to drop an offset versus their traditional 0mm drop that they've done in the past. This is a 4mm drop. There on your screen are the specs. And without further ado, let's jump into the last 30 days with the Altra FWD Experience. Dad stress test by me right now. Day one with the Altra FWD Experience here. So far so good, but it is still early in the challenge. Heading up to the amusement park. Let the ultimate shoe durability test begin. Over here at Valley Fair, just finished up with Thunder Canyon water ride, and everything on me got soaked, me and one of my kiddos, and my wife somehow ended up nice and dry, but the shoes have been officially initiated. They are totally soaked. So if anything, it'll be an opportunity to see how quickly they can dry. Oh yeah, nice and wet. Squish, squish, squish. Look at that, you can see right through it. Well, they dried up pretty quick, about 10,000 steps for the day here. That's day one, and we're just gonna kind of shut things down for today and then start day two tomorrow. We set up some trips, so we're gonna be having a lot more walking here for the Altra FWD Experience. Day two, movie theater. Good for walking the dog. So the shoes definitely feel like they're breaking in. The heel feels good. I have noticed is that the cushioning for these shoes is a little bit harder, not nearly as soft as some of the other Altra shoes. And I gotta say, for what I'm using it for, kind of day-to-day use, it's actually kind of nice. Sometimes that overly squish, that can happen in some of the foams, it's just not preferable over time. It actually increases motion of the foot, for me anyway, especially towards the back of my foot. And so having a little bit of a more resilient, less accommodative foam, tends to feel good over the long haul. But I haven't run in these yet, so that is to be determined. I used to have this issue about running shoes only being used for running, and those are the rules. But life also happens in between sessions of running, so I am interested in seeing how shoes perform for non-running activities as well. So that's what we're doing. Thanks for following along. And just like that, we're running in them. Here's an opportunity now to see how they do. Ooh, they feel peppy under steppy. That's nice. Day three. And there we go. First mile in forever. Right here on the channel. There we go. That was a mile. So, all right, that was a mile in. Here we are, day 9 of the 30-day challenge with the Altra FWD Experience. That was my first official run with it. It was a mile with the dog there while I had a chance to go for it, and I did, and I tried to get up to speed there. Energy return, all right, definitely obvious. Having gone from other Ultra Zero drop shoes to the 4mm is quite obvious that there is a drop there. It feels like you're up on your toes and you're moving along. I was pushing the pace a little bit just to see what happened, and there is quite a bit of energy return. As far as the heel goes, the heel felt actually quite nice. additional to around the heel collar where it touches the top of the shoe and that touches your foot. That's quite nice and secure with those pads that are in there. There's actually some material, feels like, kind of built into the shoe itself around the heel that goes in all the way down to the midsole, which I kind of feel that security to keep my heel locked into place as we're going along during the run. Is some minor slipping that I felt kind of in the toe box, which, you know, being an ultra shoe, is something to be aware of, that the toe box is quite wide on these shoes, but the midfoot should be fairly secure, as in not sloppy at all. Of course, there's different fits and different makes of Altra, so you got to find the right one for you, but overall shouldn't be too much. However, I am wearing some like dressier work socks here that are prone to probably be a little bit more slippery. So I will give it another go, probably in some running specific socks later on that have a bit more traction to them. So I'm not going to fault Altra for that at this point. Overall, did stand the entire shift back at work today, walking around. So several thousand steps just in doing that. And I got to say, felt pretty good. You know, my typical stuff, my knees, my back, and all that don't hurt quite as much. I don't have any kind of insert in the shoe. You know, it's just a straight up insert that you saw whenever I pulled it out during the initial test there. You know, it can benefit from an orthotic or insert, but that's your personal preference. For me, I might could use it just in the future here. All right, so that's what I got so far, day 9. Let's keep going. Got another mile with this pretty girl right here. Oh, good girl. Right, parade mode. Setting up our little campsite. Nope, not TikTok. It's a YouTube. Our day 10 of the Altra FWD experience, and we are at a parade. I gotta say, these shoes are definitely warming up to me. The extra room in the toe box and just that security around the heel collar, very nice for walking, standing, just life in general. And been on our feet for quite a bit, walking a whole bunch here in the summer. One of the hottest summers here that we can remember here in Minnesota. Also one of the wettest. And these shoes have just, you know, continued. All right, we're 10 days into a 30-day challenge, so we'll see how things continue. But so far so good as far as the Altra FWD experience being a all-around dad shoe. Midwest parade mode. It's all serious business, you know. Here's some little sidewalls. Basically the material starts here for the midsole, but these are little sidewalls along this here. Let's see if they got them on the right side here. Yep, a little bit of a sidewall. So looking straight down on it, maybe a little bit more exaggerated on the inside, not so much on the outside here. But if you think that this is the amount of midsole, you're wrong. It's actually this much. Good experience with the Altra FWD experience. It's a fun challenge. Here too, this is where the asphalt midsole begins under your foot, and this is kind of the little sidewall here. But this is nice because it kind of keeps it, hopefully it feels like it keeps that foot from sliding around. Otherwise this material would come all the way down to here without any kind of, you know, barrier from the material to the actual, you know, midsole itself, allowing that foot to slide around. So, you know, the foot, the bottom of my foot is actually down here, right there, and then you've got this bumper, and then here's kind of the middle of my foot on over. And yeah, same with the heel. It's nice that they've considered that to like sink down into the shoe versus being directly on top of a slab of foam. Not the actual forefoot. Like this is where the foot is, and then this is the bottom here. Look at that platform. That landing platform is nice and wide, way wider than my foot. My foot is here, and then the platform is a lot wider. So that's kind of cool how it slants this way and then this way. Here we are, the Altra FWD experience. Getting some miles there. It's happening, people. We got the rough wear harness on the dog. We got the Altra FWD experience on the dad. Life's good, buddy. Life is good. All right, there we are. 2.25 miles in the books. Woo, I'll take it. Oh, River and I just went on our run here. Oh, good girl, good girl. And man, it is muggy. So we're up here in Minnesota, and I'm from Georgia originally, so I think about humidity and heat, and I think about Georgia. Oh man, so the vibe I'm getting out here is a little bit like that, but not nearly as bad. I actually started my running activities and hobby back in Georgia. So that was it with the Altra FWD experience for the day. Wet traction, it actually did really well in. The ventilation of the shoe is simply not there. My feet felt like they were in like Dutch ovens going in and around. It could be the humidity and everything, but you know, it's 2024 and there's like lots of other shoes that can handle the humidity, minus the Nike Invincible, which will, that's a different story. Anyways, not great for ventilation in my experience, but I also, as you can see, sweat quite a bit. So any other fellow heavy sweaters, click like, comment down below. All right, we're gonna keep this 30-day challenge going.
That's some wear and tear today.
Well, I gotta say that the FWD experience is definitely breaking in, and if anything, feels a lot more peppy, energetic than it originally did. I mean, I just I'm zipping along here and real happy with the feeling of the step of the Altra here. You know, where I normally have my little pressure points just behind my big toe, both sides. Not the case here. I mean, less than a month in, by this point, the shoes have already started to show their wear, at least in my case. Not so much for this one. So, pretty happy. Okay. Yeah, remember the thing I said about energy return with these shoes? Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm like dropping like 620 miles out here. Of course, having the dog as a speed boost don't help, but these shoes, man, they feel lively and poppy. Maybe the 4mm does something. Who knows? Woo, here we go. Hey, a tired puppy is a quiet puppy, if you know what I mean. Especially at like 1 in the morning. Oh, can't forget Frankie. Gotta take Mr. Frankie on a run here. What are you, 10 and a half, 11 years old? We used to run all the time. Oh, Frank and me and my wife, back in the day, back when we lived in Hawaii. Oh, Frankie's from Hawaii. He's a Hawaiian dog. He's liking this heat. Just like that, we're off to go see fireworks. Look, I know I'm waxing philosophical here, but it's just interesting how, you know, you change your clothes and wear different things, but your shoes are some of the things that remain the most consistent and are with you most of your life in several months at a time. It's just interesting that they go with you wherever you go and they kind of carry your history with you. I know it's a little bit philosophical out there, but it just kind of makes me think about that during a video like this. So yeah, a little bit of history all embedded in the shoes. Well, one thing I can say about the Altra FWD experience is try not to get them too wet. Went out to water the garden through some wet grass this morning. It took, I'd say, about 7 to 8 hours to fully dry out. And they weren't sopping wet or anything, but man, there is 0 to no drying out of these shoes once it's done. I mean, granted, the socks were in there too, and they got a little bit wet. So that could be part of it too. But I don't know, man. Try not to go through many sprinklers in these shoes. The Altra is not doing much in the way of absorption, cushioning, even though it's not uncomfortable. What it does is have a lot of energy return. Feels spring loaded. Even with this 4mm drop, it just makes walking and running seem more efficient. It's a very unique feeling shoe. You know, it's got a lot of potential here. And even after walking around on it for almost a month now, it still feels very lively. Yeah, thinking about walking, it definitely has a really smooth heel to toe transition. It doesn't really have that much of a rocker bottom, but it's just super smooth. course, when going downhill, there's a little bit more heel motion than I would like. I can feel the shoe moving around, especially in a sock. And I feel it when going downhill while running too. But it's just a bit more noticeable when walking. Oh, one more thing. So this test that I'm doing a little bit of running, but by golly, this is like the fastest shoe I've had on my feet in some time. And it's ironic in a way because I'm doing a 30-day dad stress challenge on it and not really doing like an official run video on it, you know? But I think it's the 4mm drop. I think it's the natural toe box. I'm allowed to get my toes out and roll off my big toe. As you know from my videos, I tend to supinate coming down on the outside of my foot, and you know, I'm able to, I guess, roll through that big toe as I push off. Plus, the shoe just, it feels like I have a tendency to be on the balls of my feet, not so much on the flat, definitely not on the heels, and just kind of stay that way throughout the run. I keep looking down at my watch, and I think the satellite's broken or something, but it's not. I mean, I'm out there sprinting, you know, with one of the kids on the bikes, and I'm doing like 450 flat in dad shorts, okay? Dad shorts, dad socks, Snoopy shirt, everyday sunglasses. I don't know what the heck is going on, man. I don't know. But there's the Altra FWD experience for you. Woo, let me catch my breath. You, yes, you. Subscribe. Let's go. Subscribe. The fit is just brilliant. It fits nice and snug across the top of my midfoot. The first and fifth MTP, metatarsophalangeal joint of my feet. My toes do not feel restricted in the slightest. In fact, my big toe, I think, is allowed to stay straight in relation to the rest of my foot, not bent, you know, in a crazy direction like some other shoes. It is a theory of mine. Also, the heel is not massively tight. It's not loose by any means. It's just a comfortable shoe. Didn't expect it, but here it is. And there you have it. And so the Altra FWD experience did indeed survive the last month, and it did way better than expected. The wear and tear on the shoe is not nearly what I expected. I expected quite a bit of balding of the rubber, and I didn't have any of that. As well, not a ton of creasing of the midsole. And the toe box on this shoe actually being so wide, I think set it apart. In terms of it now being a 4mm drop shoe and it just being oh so comfortable, especially on my feet for several hours at a time at my job. You know, we're looking at least, you know, 8-9 hours at a pop there, plus walks, plus running. You know, I got some gardening done in here. So I know I said originally that we weren't going to do yard work, but we did a little bit of that here as well, and getting it completely soaked at the water park. That was kind of fun. That was day one. But that's dad life. That's dad life. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed that 30-day little stress test on this shoe here. If you're interested in more 30-day challenges here, let me know down in the comments so we can certainly arrange that. I have plenty of shoes and I do a lot of activities, especially outside of running, as a dad. So I can definitely put these shoes through the paces. All right, everybody, I appreciate it. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and liking this video. That tells me on YouTube that you really appreciated the content, found value in it. I will put a link to this shoe in the description. I think it will be worth the recommendation. It's on sale. This is the previous iteration. There's the second version out now. And it might be worth you picking up and just having for everyday life. That 4mm drop for me was really sweet. All right, it wasn't too much. It wasn't too little. It was just right in the center. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Yeah, white was probably not the best choice. Oh well.